Good morning to one and all. Today's topic is vertigo. It is defined as a false sense of orientation of one's own self in relation to the surrounding. It's mostly a subjective symptom. Clinical types of vertigo: these are induced vertigo, spontaneous vertigo, rotatory vertigo, non-rotatory vertigo. This most of the varieties which already you are faced in your day-to-day life when you're not taking a proper food. Suddenly there is a reduced glucose level in your body. Cells are not able to take the proper oxygen level. We will suddenly collapse. Such kind of vertigos are called as induced vertigos. When you are going in a very high place, suddenly looking downwards, spontaneously there is a feeling of falling. This is spontaneous vertigo. Likewise, there are various clinical classification vertigos I have mentioned here: subjective vertigo, objective vertigo, then positional vertigo. Then coming into that disease factors, physiological vertigo, pathological vertigos are there. Depending upon the causes, the classification has been made. Vertigo is a symptom, it's not a disease condition. Most of the ear conditions you already gone through in your theory part. Dividing the vertigo into major classification as central causes as well as peripheral causes. Peripheral causes are visual. That means errors or refraction like myopia, hypermetropia, presbyocusis, etc. This is labyrinthine and proprioceptive. Proprioceptive means mostly the CNS disease conditions like diabetes dorsalis. Okay. And coming in the central causes, the multiple sclerosis, migraine, epilepsy, head injuries, viral infections in the nerve roots results in the vertigo. Then coming into the next one, tinnitus. Tinnitus is a sensation of sound pursue the patient in the absence of simultaneously applied mechanico-acoustic or electrical signal that is not produced by any other instruments. Okay, any mechanical instruments is not produce this sound. It is purely produced by our body. That means we can able to hear the venous hums when you are in a very silently lie in a bed. Again, we can able to observe some sounds while in a very peaceful state. That kind of sounds is called as tinnitus. It may be a pathological one or it may be a physiological one. Sometimes it may be a subjective, even sometimes it may be a objective. Like I told already, the physiologicals are muscular tremors, contractions, or circular tremors heard by the patient. Those are apparently arising from the head, within the head. Pathological causes, there are extra-artery causes, intra-artery causes are there. There are malformations. You have a various arteriovenous capillary perfusions are there. In that, abnormally there is some kind of malformations occur. In that times you can able to hear the sound. Those kinds of sounds are called as extra artery tinnitus. Coming to the artery, these are purely arising from the already existing disease conditions of the ear, like secondary otitis media, otosclerosis, glomus jugulare. These are having a high predominance of conductive deafness along with tinnitus. Next one is a sensory neural deafness. We have a Meniere's disease, acoustic neuronoma, then noise trauma. These are the various conditions. We have a predominant sensory neural deafness along with tinnitus. Investigations, we have to go for the hemogram. Any other infectious diseases are there or not, or some kind of radiological investigation to rule out the any kind of possibilities of any bone diseases. Then BERA, brainstem evoked response audiometry. Then tinnitus, pitch sound. Okay, there are two kinds of tinnitus can be masked or it can be measured in investigation. First one is a pitch match. The pure tones are used and tones which match with the tinnitus pitch are noted. They already recorded some pitch sounds according to the frequency. Patient's sound has been compared with the already fixed to the standard one. They will measure how much the patient is suffering from this kind of symptom, whether it's a notable clinical condition or it can be easily resolved. They can able to give by doing this investigation. Then loudness match, same thing. Lowest intensity of wide band noise that masks the tinnitus is measured. In that, high pitched sound along with the tinnitus sound has been recorded and comparing it. Okay. Then management, mostly this tinnitus has been measured or masked by hearing aids and tinnitus maskers. Psychological treatment, you have to assure the patient you should not have any problem. You don't worry about that. You will recover from this condition very easily. That is a major thing. Then you have to treat the cause. You have to find out the exact cause and give the proper treatment which will resolve this condition, both vertigo and as well as tinnitus. Then coming to the next one is acoustic neuroma. That is one of the tumor, a benign tumor which occurs in the ear, especially with the 8th cranial nerve, that is vestibulocochlear nerve. It is a benign tumor which occurs in the neural sheath. In the facial nerve, I already explained about the endoneurium, perineurium and epineurium. Then Schwann cells. It is a specifically tumor which occurs in the Schwann cells, which is covering the axons. Okay, so that what will happen? This benign tumor is gradually enlarging it and displacing the entire nerve from the nerve sheath, so that it causes, initial stages it causes severe pressure effect. In later stages it causes neurological destruction. In severe cases it totally makes the nerve paralysis. Not only this vestibulocochlear nerve, it affects the other cranial nerves also. 5th, 6th, 7th are also affected by this acoustic neuronoma. Just I show the pictures. Okay, this is a tumor. Okay, so depending upon the presentation, we are having, in case of early otological level, we are have a deafness, tinnitus and vertigo will be more prominent in the otological phase when the tumor is getting enlarged. Then later stages it will be loss of sensation in the artery canal. Okay, then further prognosing the disease conditions result in loss of corneal sensation also. Okay, then headache, vomiting due to the increased intracranial pressure, nausea, vomiting. This migraine will be getting more predominant. Then investigation is a audiological test, pure tone audiometry. It shows the blockage level and sounds which is perceived is very minimal. Okay, then CT scan which clearly demonstrates a tumor. I will show you. This is the marked one, is a acoustic neuroma. Then coming into the surgical management part, radiotherapy is a first line of choice. Then in severe cases they will go for the translabyrinthine approach or middle fossa approach, and laterolabyrinthine or rectosigmoidal approaches to remove the tumor. Okay, it's all about the acoustic neuronoma. That's all about all these conditions. Thank you.